Ethan had lived all his life in a world of darkness. Not the kind of darkness that frightened children or hid monsters. No, his darkness was soft, familiar, a constant companion. He could navigate the streets, hear the rhythm of life in a city most people rushed through without notice. He could sense people's moods, their presence, the subtle vibrations of their steps. But love had never existed in his darkness. He had always imagined love as something bright, something you saw, something that burned in the eyes and the smile. But he had never seen. And so, love had remained, until now, a distant sound, a faint melody he could hear but never touch. Lily had always believed the opposite. She saw too much, and yet somehow nothing. People's faces, their gestures, their smiles, all of it had taught her to guard her heart. She had loved and been broken, trusted and been betrayed. By 27, she carried herself with a quiet armor, a soft caution that could be mistaken for shyness. She had learned that looking closely was dangerous, because what you saw could hurt you. It was a rainy Thursday evening when they first crossed paths. The city was quieting down, the air thick with the scent of rain and wet asphalt. She ducked into a small bookstore, shaking off droplets from her umbrella. She had always found comfort in books, the smell of pages, the whispers of stories that didn't demand anything from her but attention. Ethan had been there too, as he often was. He wandered through the aisles, fingertips brushing over covers, tracing words and textures he could never see but could imagine. He knew this bookstore as though it were a second home, but tonight, there was something different. A sound, a soft laugh, almost musical, drew him closer. His steps slowed. Her presence was gentle but confident, a warmth in a world of cold rain. He reached out instinctively when he heard her stumble over a stack of books. Their fingers brushed lightly as he steadied her. "Are you okay?" she asked, voice trembling slightly. "I am now," he said softly, almost unsure if his words had any weight. Her name was Lily. That much he would learn later. But in that moment, there was a connection, something he couldn't define but felt deeply. It was a pull in the chest, subtle yet undeniable, like a heartbeat that was not his own. Over the next week, they met in small ways. She would appear in the bookstore, or he would hear her voice outside, laughing at something unseen. Conversations were brief at first, tentative. He learned her scent, the rhythm of her speech, the soft cadence that made him feel alive. She learned the sound of his laughter, the subtle inflection in his tone when he was happy or curious. And slowly, without even realizing it, they became each other's anchor. One rainy morning, Lily found herself talking to him about the sunlight. She described the way the light fell through the leaves, the golden warmth it cast on the street, the way it made people's faces glow. Ethan listened, eyes closed, imagining it. The colors were foreign, impossible, yet through her words, he could feel the warmth. He could feel the shape of light in the curve of her voice. "You make it sound so real," he said quietly. She smiled. "I'm just trying to show you what I see." But they both knew it was more than that. In each exchange, they were revealing pieces of their hearts they had hidden for years. Trust was building, fragile and tentative, yet powerful. Days turned into weeks. Every encounter deepened their connection. Ethan began to anticipate her voice before she spoke, recognizing her presence in a room he could not see. Lily found herself longing for the sound of his laugh, for the safety in his gentle tone. They began to share their dreams, small confessions that made each heart beat faster, each silence heavy with meaning. Then came the night that changed everything. The rain was heavier, the streets empty. Lily had lingered in the bookstore, lost in the pages of a novel, when Ethan appeared outside. He stepped inside without knocking. She looked up, her heart skipping a beat, and for the first time, she noticed the way his presence filled the room. They sat at their usual corner table. She fidgeted, unsure how to begin. He simply waited, his hands folded, patient, expectant. She started, then stopped. Words failed her. She had never felt this way before, had never known that a single person could make her chest ache so gently. "It's okay," Ethan said. "You don't need words. I can feel it." She looked down at her hands. You feel everything? Not everything, he admitted, voice soft. But I feel what matters. She laughed, a small, shaky sound. You make it sound like you're some kind of superhero. Maybe I am, he said, teasing, but there was a sincerity in his tone that made her smile linger. As the evening wore on, they shared more than words. They shared silences, comfortable and full of meaning. The rain tapped gently on the windows, a soft percussion that mirrored the rhythm of their hearts. They spoke of past heartbreaks, of loneliness, of the longing they had felt without knowing it. For Ethan, every word she spoke painted a world he could not see but now longed to. For Lily, every sound of his voice, every shift in tone, told a story that her eyes could never capture. By the time the rain had stopped, something undeniable had formed. Not love yet, perhaps, but the spark of something deeper. Something that neither sight nor words alone could define. Ethan walked her to the door. She hesitated, feeling the weight of the moment. Will I see you again? She asked, though she knew it didn't matter in the traditional sense. You already have, he said simply. I feel you. That's enough. And in that moment, Lily realized something she hadn't before. Love doesn't always need sight.